We've talked about Polaris Infrastructure, Russ, in our Capital Ideas Digest before. Our contributor Fabrice Taylor really likes it. So let's hone in on the business. We know it's a renewable company, but what kind of renewable energy are we talking about and where?
Polaris operates the San Jacinto geothermal power project, and that's a geothermal project in Nicaragua, located about 2 hours drive outside of Managua. Geothermal power basically involves pumping hot water and steam from underground and converting that to electricity, and then you re-inject the cooled water and back underground for reheating. What's unique about it is that it's not only renewable, but it's highly reliable, which enables it to be used as baseload power.
I understand the margins are really high.
Very high. The company's realizing EBITDA margins of better than 80%. So we like the story for that reason and its high level of revenue visibility.
And why are they so high? Why are they at that level?
A big part of that is the project's location in Nicaragua. Comparing it to its closest peer in the US, their EBITDA margins are in the 50s. So we'd give that extra 30% bump to the project's location in a lower cost jurisdiction.
Tell us about production growth right now, and I understand that they're considering a binary unit. What is that exactly, and are they going to carry on with that?
Sure, it's like a binary unit's like a secondary power plant. So whereas the core unit just re-injects the cooled water back underground, the binary unit would take that cooled water and almost recycle it back into additional electricity for sale. That is something the company's been actively evaluating for quite some time. We don't think it's finalized yet. There is a potential for other areas for production growth, including a new production well that they're currently drilling and potentially a second production well to follow.
What's the dividend yield right now? What's the payout ratio, and can they continue to grow that?
So the current yield's about 3.8%. Payout ratio, we have it for this fiscal year being about 39% and going down to 28% next year. That's important because the company's target payout ratio is about 40 to 60%. So we think there's a lot of opportunity to expand that dividend. We think they can more than double the dividend over the next few years while staying within their target payout ratio.
Now, Fabrice Taylor has said more than once to me that he thinks that this company is essentially lining itself up to get taken out eventually. Is that the management team's goal?
I think that's a possibility. They also have a second project located to the northwest of the first project, so there's some optionality in there for a potential acquirer. It is located in Nicaragua, and that is perhaps a higher risk jurisdiction than other markets, but we do think that major infrastructure buyers are becoming a little more comfortable investing in developing markets such as Nicaragua, and so that is a possibility.
Okay, you're doing double duty today. Let's shift gears to a pioneering technology. We had the CEO, Kevin Callahan, in recently. You said you watched that interview. Impressive guy, interesting guy. Remind us about the main flagship product, which is the smart burner and what it does.
Dull, boring, and old. Very, very old. The electric coil stove really hasn't changed in more than 150 years.
So smart burner is a really interesting product. It's basically a replacement burner for electric coil stoves. So it's something that anyone can pop in and replace the standard electric coil burner that you get on a stove. And the company realizes a price of about $140 per stove at this point. It's sold primarily through distributors such as Staples Business Advantage, HD Supply, and Interline. So good distribution platform and a product that basically anyone can install.
You're so smart.
Thank you.
And sexy.
Madam, smart is sexy. Look smart, cook smart, save smart.
What's the main catalyst for pioneering tech right now, and how important is that industry rule that's coming in 2019 whereby you have to have a product like this in your appliances?
Well, the company's done a great job of expanding or growing its sales into the aftermarket, but to date that's left the OEM market virtually untouched. So the safety standard changes coming in April 2019 are important because they'll effectively require manufacturers to install some sort of fire prevention technology on their stoves at the time of the manufacture. So that's something that could crack the market for the OEM market open for pioneering and could be the next leg up for the story.
Revenue is growing quite rapidly, 50% annually, and if not 80% in the last quarter. Tell us about that. Is it sustainable and the profitability as well?
We think the company's been remarkably consistent on top-line growth. They've guided to 50% this year. They did 50 last year and a comparable number the year before. So we still think that that is sustainable, even if they were just targeting the aftermarket. So far, they've done it really on the back of one product, the smart burner product. They are planning to launch another product for a complementary market later this summer. So that's something that could fuel additional growth in future years.
And lastly, Russ, I asked Mr. Callahan this, are you a logical takeout candidate? And he said, yeah, down the road, that could be the end game where an appliance maker, an Electrolux, a Whirlpool, whoever, he didn't name names, could take the company out. Does that seem like a logical fit?
I think so. These companies are going to, effectively be forced to install some sort of fire prevention technology on their products. To date, we believe that pioneering has the only game in town, so to speak. That makes them a logical candidate. It's still a very small company relative to the Whirlpools or the Electroluxes of the world. So it's a very manageable acquisition from their perspective, and could be preferable to trying to design their own product or simply trying to buy from pioneering on a long-term basis.